let's look at the playbook. We actually have an internal playbook that I want to go through some of it. I'm not going to read this entire document to you because it is quite lengthy. But we have on-page services where we go through Google Business Profile Optimization. This document talks about the benefits of it, how it complements other SEO efforts. It talks about our reporting, why it's important, the advantages, how GeoGrid maps rank. All I want you to really take away from this is the fact that we have, for on-page and off-page, we have a game plan. We have a proven process that we've used in many, many different industries all over the United States and Canada for that matter. And we have gotten phenomenal results. It has taken us countless dollars and countless hours of testing to be able to produce predictable, repeatable, and scalable results with our on-page and off-page services. So just to give you some examples of that, what goes into some on-page services? Well, keyword and competition research. We actually have a standard operating procedure that we use internally. It goes through so any of our internal people can go through and see exactly how we want to do this. Run a competitive report. It goes through and it shows exactly how to do it. Reverse engineer your competitor's backlink strategy. Again, all I really want you to see here is that we have a plan on how we attack this every single time. For your Google Business Profile Optimization, well, how do we go through optimizing it? This literally tells everybody that works with us exactly where to click. We do all this. These are internal documents. I'm just showing you that we have a process for everything. Adding your Q&A sections, your service descriptions, optimized GMB posts, collecting and managing customer reviews. We automate that. So we have a plan for all of it. We have local citations for our off-page. Citations and business directory listings. Well, I want to show you what some of that means. So we've got a standard operating procedure on how we go do it. And some of you that have done any of this before might say, well, aren't there services that automate that for really cheap? Yes. Yext is the most notable. But if you do any research into it, you'll note that Yext has terrible indexation. The links that the citations that they're building never get indexed. And if they do, the domain authority that's linking is just pitiful. So yeah, it's a cheap service, but you get very poor results. That's why we do it manually. And we'll show you an example of that. So let's take a look at what we do. Instead of automatically doing it through a third-party service, we manually build out the report. As an example, here's your domain authority rating. This is based out of 100. The higher it is, the more significant Google considers it to be. And if you use Yext, you'll get normally between like 40 and 65 or 70 citations. How many are in here for this business? There's 314 of them. And these always include name, address, and phone number. So your business name, your address, your phone number, your website, it's always involved in there, right? Each one of these citations, name, address, phone number, website, description, all this is always included. These are citations. We literally build hundreds of them. That builds a foundation for you to have high brand authority. It also helps your domain, which helps your domain authority. It just helps Google understand that authority, which dictates who we are in Google's eyes. Remember, that's the first category. So this is one way out of many that we really focus on our authority that says who we are, right? After that, we need to get some contextual and geographic relevance. And contextual and geographic relevance comes through content and backlinks. So we do press releases. Press releases allow us to write 500-word articles about any topic we want. And so we can include any of our desired keywords in that topic. So in this case, if we're doing equipment rentals, we can say a link might be heavy equipment rental as an example. We can also include cities, which would be our geographic area. We can get down to neighborhoods, really start targeting those maps that we looked at. Just to give you some examples, here's some press releases. This was from 1 month. We do these every month. This one had 554 that went out for that 1 month. Let's take a look at some examples. Here's one of them. It's got a Google Business Map. It's got name, address, phone number. It's got an entire write-up. It's got backlinks, heavy equipment rental, and you'll see that it goes to the money page. Up here, so that's heavy equipment rental. Up here, equipment rental, and it goes to Google Business Profile. Why is that important? Well, those backlinks help us establish authority, who we are. We're also talking about our area, that's geographic relevance, and we're linking with things like heavy equipment rental, that's contextual relevance. We're driving home all 3 points. And we're doing it, this is just another example of that same press release, got the same assets, same information. It gets distributed out literally 554 times every month. Why do we do it every month? Well, one, it allows us to talk about more contextual and geographic relevance. We can start, instead of hitting a city, we can get down into suburbs, into small towns, we can get into neighborhoods. So it allows us more opportunities, the more content we have out there, to talk about other keywords we might be trying to target, other areas we might be targeting. But more importantly, you'll note here, this one fell off. Why did it fall off? Well, a lot of these are news sites, and so they archive their information every 30 days or so. 30 days is a very common cycle. So if it's getting archived every 30 days, we want to make sure that we don't lose our backlink profile. We don't want to lose this link. So we do it every month. That way, by the time one falls off, we already have another article on that domain. So that's our press release strategy. It gets used regularly. We use it every month. So this one had 554. If you're talking about 500 plus backlinks for domain authority, that's huge. For contextual and geographic relevance, it's awesome. It gives us a way to really separate ourselves from our competition by doing more than 500 a month. It's a fantastic way to help out in all 3 of those main categories. What's another thing that we're doing? Well, we're doing tiered backlinking. Let's take a look at that. Here's a tiered backlinking report. And basically, I want to walk you through the structure here. We're going to go create a bunch of content out here that links, like if this was like tier 4 as an example, it would link to tier 3. That tier 3 would link to tier 2. So this might be a comment in a guest post on a forum, and this might be a short form article, this might be a really long form article, this might be very high domain authority pages, and then eventually they all point back to the money site, which would be either our location page on our website, or maybe our homepage on our website, or our Google business profile. We like to mix those up in certain ratios that we found to be very productive. Why don't we just point all of these, why don't we just point everything right here? Well, we're shielding the money site or the money property from any kind of Google update. If Google were going to give us like a toxic backlink penalty, I don't want to penalize my money site. So if these were penalized for some reason, a Google algorithm update rolls out. We don't want to get our money site penalized. We'd rather get these penalized because that's a wash. It doesn't hurt us on our money site. So these are quantity over quality, and the closer we get to the money site, the more the quality increases. And I know that might seem confusing if you've never done anything like this. So let's take a look at some real examples. Here's some examples to our tier 1 articles. By the way, these go out on a monthly basis, depending on which plan you're in. How many are there? Well, here's some tier 2s, 3s, and 4s that are linking to it. This particular one had over 49,000 that went out. This was in 1 month. Here's an example. So we've got an article. It's got all this content written about our business. It's got images. It's got Google properties, specifically our Google business map. And then we have things like check out your URL. This is a pretty garbage keyword for us. That's intentional. We don't want to overuse our backlinks. What we're trying to do is build authority by passing. It's called link equity. Doesn't matter that you remember that, but we're just passing it along. So we've got a YouTube video. YouTube is owned by Google. It's a Google property. We've got click here for more info, right? So if I go click on this one, affordable aerial lift equipment rentals. So now this article, very similar in structure, Google Video, Google Map. But now look, heavy equipment rental, where does that point? That's pointing to the money site, okay? So as we get closer to the money site, the money property, the more properly formatted things are. So it's quantity over quality to power up this article. The only goal for this article is to power up this article. And then this article is passing the link equity that it's gained over to our money site. Let's take a look at another example. Heavy equipment rental services, right? So we're trying to rank for heavy rental equipment. Scroll through here, you see similar properties. We scroll down. Dozer rental, that's definitely something we're trying to rank for. What does it link to? Our Google business profile, right? Other example. And we're doing these at scale. I mean, for 1 month, this had over 30 or 49,000 that went out. Equipment rental company, you see that's pointing to the primary domain. So we are building in mass quantities. We're building this huge tiered structure of backlinks where we're powering up. So like this is a very small one. This would be like a tier 4, right? And so this one is going to link to a property that we're trying to power up. Okay? So the job of this is only to power up this, which we don't own, right? This is how we're shielding our money domain. Then we get in here, heavy equipment rental. That's what points to the money site. Okay, we have a lot more control over these. We can control the ratios that we're using for things like what words are we linking from. You'll see that this is bold and it's hyperlinked, so Google knows to pay extra attention to that. This is all done in very specific ratios that we've tested ad nauseum to be able to see what works the best. So that one. So this is only to power up this. This one, forklift rental, that's a term we're trying to rank for. Points to the money domain. So again, contextual relevance. The other one was dozer rental or heavy equipment rental. This one's forklift rental. That's what I mean by contextual relevance. We're able to target, because we're using 49,000 backlinks in this particular instance. A lot of those are going to a tier 2 asset. The tier 2 asset, if we've got, I think we've got, out of this tier 1 and tier 2, we've got over 3,800. That's a lot of opportunities for us to change in the keywords that we're trying to rank for, and then we can go about getting these indexed by Google, and we can do these on a regular basis. Okay. This is a different set of articles. It's a different set of content. This was a different month, and you've got another 48,129. So just for these two, 49,079, this one's 49,129. You're almost at 100,000 different links that have been built. And that was just 2 particular months that I chose at random for this business. It's a great way for us to build our tiered backlinking structure. It sends massive signals to Google. It's a great force multiplier for us. Utilization of local guide accounts. I won't go into as much detail with this, but a local guide account, basically we've got a video. You see my smiling face down there. We can do things with local guide accounts that help us specifically with reviews, driving directions, question answers, things that we're combining strategies. So you saw in earlier on that adding a Q&A section is part of our on page. Well, using high-ranking local guide accounts, we're going to start asking questions on that profile, and then we'll answer it. So again, more opportunities to build contextual and geographic relevance using Google properties to do it. Google loves Google. So utilizing local guide accounts, we've got another example that's how to target specific nodes with user engagement signals. We use local guide accounts for that, but this tutorial is something that we use for our internal team to go through how are we specifically targeting those actual nodes on the map. So if you think about this as the example, we've got a 1, a 1, and then a 5. I would target that node, that latitude and longitude coordinate, with some very specific tactics that we use. That we kind of cover in this tutorial, basically that we can use with local guide accounts, driving directions, click-through rate manipulation. Speaking of click-through rate manipulation, basically we walk through it. It is a way for us to manipulate the user engagement signals to Google. In other words, we can have software bots that will go search for a term, scroll through, find your Google business profile, click on it. It spends a certain amount of time reading reviews, and then it clicks onto your website, clicks through a couple pages on your website, etc. It sends positive user engagement signals to Google. It does it at very specific ratios for things that it is searching for. And then our Google Authority stacks if needed. Many times we don't even have to get to this, but it's a linking silo. It's very similar to our tiered structure, our tiered backlinking structure, but it uses Google entities like you might use Google Doc, Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Business Profile Posts, etc. It's just a way to interlink everything together with Google properties so they're easy to get indexed. It's just an extra force multiplier that we have. So my point of sharing all this information with you is to explain that we have a lot of different ways that we can use on-page and off-page services to be able to specifically get you into that 3-pack, which I think now we can all agree is exceedingly powerful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to do an audit on your business and show how we can make a positive difference on your bottom line. Again, I'm Richard Worley with System X Designs, and I appreciate you watching.